Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Quigley on Divorce, a behind-the-scenes look. I'm your host, James Quigley, and I am excited to present something today completely different than we've ever done, which is my entire team at Beermann, the outstanding lawyers that support all of our clients, are with me here today to close out 2020 and wish everyone a happy 2021. So to just put names to faces and faces to names so that everybody knows who the great Quigley team is here at Beermann, I'm going to just go around a little bit, and I don't know how people are seeing this on the screens, but I guess in order of seniority, I'm going to start with my partner, Shanna Vitek. Shanna has been with me since the Quigley and Associate days, more than 15, 16 years ago. I think we've been together almost 17 years now. Had a great year this year and was promoted within the partnership this year. And so that was quite an honor and so fortunate to have her. So Shanna, I don't know if you can wave and say hi so everyone can see who you are.
Hi.
Awesome. Jared Pincus, also another partner promoted within the firm. Just been with us now the entire time we've been at Beermann, and one of the leaders of our team as well. Jared may be popping off at time because there is a 3-year-old and a less than 1-year-old that may require some attention.
Yep, absolutely.
So Jared, glad to have you. Next, I think in terms of seniority, Joe Napoli, one of our another partner who this was his first year as a partner at Beermann, so made tremendous strides, just killing it. Glad to have him on the team. Joe, you want to wave for everyone?
Thanks, boss. Good to be here.
Big Joe. Jordan Rosenberg, who is our Zoom controller. So if anything goes wrong, we're going to blame Jordan, but otherwise Jordan's in control. Jordan, again, I'm maybe letting the cat out of the bag, but Jordan also named partner this year. So tremendous strides, one of our younger attorneys to be named partner at the firm here at Beermann. So pretty cool stuff. And then we rounded out with Leo Bazanis, AKA Big Leo. Leo is our enforcer out in the Bannockburn office. Had some exciting news personally this year as well with an engagement. And, he keeps us going and is definitely one of our grinders. Leo, welcome.
Thanks, boss.
And another one of our young grinders that keeps all of us going. Another young attorney got engaged this year, Marcus Dominguez. Marcus is in our downtown office. Again, these guys, Marcus, Leo, Jordan, all of them have really been the spokes in the tire that have really kind of kept us rolling, particularly in this past year. So what I really wanted to do is, aside from introducing everybody, and I forgot Paige. How could I forget Paige? We have a brand new addition to the Beermann family, and in particular to the Quigley team. Paige Goldberg came from another firm, and this year at Beermann, while we've really expanded, we've actually added attorneys. Paige is one of the outstanding associate attorneys, and so Paige, say hello. We're so happy to have you part of the team.
Thanks for forgetting about me.
So this is when I talk about the team at Beermann, we are now up to, I think, 43 lawyers, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 44 or 42. But actually, in this kind of challenging year of 2020 with COVID and everything else, we've actually added attorneys to our team and some staff and some paralegals. And so we've been fortunate to really keep things going and trying to really operate at a high level. And we're looking for even more bigger things in the new year. So one of the things I wanted to do is just kind of, aside from meeting everyone on the team, have them kind of maybe share some thoughts of what happened in the world of our profession, being divorce lawyers, and what we experienced and what worked and what didn't work. And then maybe also offer some suggestions into the new year for all of you that some things to think about, whether you are in the middle of a divorce right now, whether you've just kind of made it through the holidays and you've been thinking about this and the time is now to move forward, or if you're somebody that just finished up a divorce and you're kind of looking to start anew. So I think just in order, because again, Jared may have some obligations where you may have to jump off. Jared, I'm going to kind of turn the mic to you and say again, thanks for all of your efforts with the team this year. It's been a great year. Any thoughts on the crazy year of 2020, or any thoughts for?
Absolutely.
Ed?
It's been a nutty year for sure. We've all really had to learn this new process of remote Zoom for court appearances. It's added a new element of uncertainty into the practice and into the process. And it's here to stay. I think one of the things, maybe we start going back in person at some time for trials or what have you, but there's no fixed line for that or no fixed target for that at this point. So we're doing our best within that, but like I said, it's added a element of uncertainty. And so going ahead for the new year, I think one of the focuses that good lawyers bring to a case is an ability to try to reach resolutions outside of court, finding ways through ADR, through arbitrations, or through mediations to help resolve disputes, and really using the court process and this remote Zoom process as a last resort. And sometimes we need it. And when we do, I think one of the things we've mastered is really using the technology that is kind of new to everybody to put our cases on, organizing a presentation electronically that we used to do in person. So I think it's here to stay. I think it's a challenge for us all. I think we've done an incredible job over the last 6 to 9 months working with it, and I think we'll do great going forward. But I also think people really need to consider ADR and getting outside of the litigating mindset, because this whole remote thing isn't going away. And I said, it's so not uniformed right now in how it works. It's a new level of uncertainty for everyone.
Yeah. Great pointing out, you mentioned ADR, and for those who may not be familiar, it's alternative dispute resolution. And that kind of is a good segue, I think, to turn to you, Shanna. We talk about alternative dispute resolution, you think of mediation, you think of collaborative law, cooperative law. Shanna happens to be trained as a mediator, certified in collaborative law. Shanna, what do you think in terms of what happened in 2020, and even just looking forward as it relates to things we're doing as lawyers or things our clients can think about as well?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. I haven't, and probably a lot of us have not really had many days off since COVID started. Divorces are up about 34% since the beginning of COVID, and we have definitely noticed that here. We're very busy. A lot of it probably can be attributed to people being, stuck together a lot more than they were before COVID, and problems that existed before, just are becoming more obvious when people are together all the time. One thing I've been telling people is to really focus on self-care for themselves. So to get through the process, if you're not okay, that's not the right way to start out. So whether you have a counselor, getting together with friends, making sure that you go to your doctor's appointments and those kinds of things is really important, because it is a tough process. The beginning is probably the hardest part of the process, and COVID doesn't make it any easier. So to that point, the courts are also super busy. And so everything is taking longer to get through. Trials are not happening, hearings are not happening. And so using the collaborative process or mediation is a great choice, because it's easier to schedule. You can just all hop on Zoom, less expensive because no one's having to drive anywhere. And so they're great options for people who are going through the process that weren't available before.
Great ideas, great points. Jordan, to the point of self-care, good thoughts from Shanna. As a guy that's really kind of been in the trenches day in, day out, like Shanna said, really not a lot of downtime, vacation time. What are your thoughts on the crazy year of 2020 and moving forward?
James, perfect segue into what I was thinking and ruminating well before I was about to talk. But I would say, so I'm a very bookend guy, and I like to be organized, and I like to sort of say, okay, we're finishing 2020, we're starting 2021. So I'm just like cleaning out my office here right now just to like start fresh and like, let's go. And so my advice, at least to people before I get into some of the changes in the court, are get organized and sort of reconcile your thoughts. Look at yourself and your situation from 30,000 feet. I totally agree with Shanna that self-care is so important. And you know, I was just telling my wife the other day, it's like every day is almost like Groundhog's Day. So it's like that movie with Bill Murray, and he wakes up, it's just put your little hand in mine, and he hits the alarm, and it's every single day is the exact same. So I think setting like attainable goals for yourself is really important, kind of recognizing where you're at and just kind of being organized and moving forward, whether it be in work, in your personal life, or in your relationship. That's huge. One of the cool things that I think in that vein is I think that we as lawyers have had to be much more organized in terms of our practice. And, you know, James, me, you, and Jared had a 7-day trial where, you know, all the exhibits we had to have them pre-organized, numbered, ready to go, like boom, 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 pull it up on the screen, already highlighted. So I think it really sort of makes things in our practice, it forces us to be more efficient and more organized. And it's also like accelerated the antiquated court system into the 21st century, I think. So before March, we would go into court and we would literally have carbon paper orders and send courtesy copies through mail and drop off, whatever. And so now everybody, all the judges, all the clerks and everything, and all the orders are entered electronically. There's e-signatures. So it's really sort of simplified and made more efficient our lives as lawyers, but at the same time makes us more organized. So that's, I think, a sort of the silver lining from our practice from 2020, and just need to get to 2021 to start fresh here.
Yeah, starting fresh. It's a good point, all the technology, and this being my 29th year of practice, I can tell, you know, anyone who's watching or listening, it has not been an easy adjustment. It really, you know, some people love the technology. I've relied heavily on my team. Like Jordan mentioned, the trial we had, I don't know what I would have done without these guys. They're pulling up documents on the computer screen, the exhibits and so forth. So we've really been able to pivot and, you know, really just kind of seamlessly adapt to this new change in technology and how court works. And so that's been quite an adjustment. Speaking of organization, Paige, you came over from another office, and coming into our office, you know, just the physical part of getting organized, getting settled, and still, you know, meeting new clients and diving in. What are your thoughts on this crazy year, and any thoughts moving forward into 2021?
I think a big thing with clients that I've realized is dealing with COVID, a lot of it is with parenting time, and they're kind of worried about, okay, I want to go out of town with my child, or we want to go on vacation, or kind of just figuring out what they can and can't do. We want to go to this state. We want to go to, there are some places hosting a Christmas to take the kids to meet Santa or whatever it might be. Some people are really on one end of the spectrum in terms of being really COVID conscious, and other people are kind of slap a mask on or don't and let's go. So I think kind of even trying to deal with not only what the parents feel about COVID, but also what the judges feel, and trying to temper their expectations with that, because they'll say to us like, well, I don't understand how you could possibly let him go out of state. It's Florida, it's New York, whatever it might be. And you get in front of a judge, and that judge is not COVID conscious at all. Or, you have a GAL, or you have a different judge who's like, absolutely do not go. I will not, I won't allow it, or there will be, it'll slap down on you if you go, and it's not going to look good. So I think even in terms of kind of in these times, unprecedented times, that the phrase everyone's using is just trying to temper, because I do a lot of working with clients. Joe kind of handles going into court, all that, and I talk to the clients, and a lot of it is tempering, I think, their expectations and kind of what's really going on with COVID.
Yeah, really, really good thoughts there. Jared and Marcus and I, actually dealt with that very issue where parents wildly divergent on the view of travel, and there was travel to New York with a small child, had some medical conditions, and notwithstanding that, judge couldn't care less, send the kid to New York. So there's just that unpredictability of not only how judges view, COVID and parenting time with that, but just how they're handling even the procedural stuff. Things are going flying back and forth with emails. It's just a much different space. Joe, Paige, mentioned you kind of being one of our litigators. You're going into court. Used to be pre-COVID, we weren't sure if you were in McHenry County or Cook County or any of the other surrounding counties, DuPage, Lake, on any given day, because you were a man that would travel to try cases. What do you think about how your practice has changed and some of the things that you've implemented, or, what are some things that you think could be helpful to people coming into the new year?
I think from an efficiency standpoint, the Zoom, as you mentioned, I was a guy that did travel. We would take clients from all over the state of Illinois. You and I have tried cases downstate Illinois, central Illinois. Yeah. So certainly the Zoom has made it more efficient and allowed really us to service clients outside of our region that we normally might not have the opportunity to do. So I think it's, given us exposure to clients who might not have the opportunity to hire us regularly, but also for us to expand our business and give people an opportunity to hire the Beermann firm to handle their case. So I think that's one of the big differences that I've seen with Zoom. I do think it's good for both sides. I think it's good for the Beermann firm for us to get an opportunity to tell these clients, why we are the best, why we believe we're the best, why we're the best in the state. So from that standpoint, it's been neat. I think that, as you mentioned, we like going to court and showing how well we prepare a case, whether it's organization, whether it's having the documents ready, being prepared. And I think we've had to shift that goal or mindset a little bit to the Zoom. So we've been fortunate. We have a beautiful office space. The office is equipped with TVs, with microphones, and we are able to put on a case in our conference room. Right, we have spaces for other lawyers there. We have big screen TVs in which we can project our exhibits, and I think that shows a difference, even in the presentation versus our opposition, who's in their office. They might be buried. They're shuffling. They're looking for things, and that's an opportunity for us, which I think we've done a really good job with, is exhibiting that presentation that we would in person, but doing it via Zoom. And I think even right now, right, we're all synchronized with backgrounds. We've got the Beermann firm. We stay organized. I think it's a good look. And I think it's something that we used to do in person, and now we're finding ways to do it via Zoom.
Absolutely. That actually makes me think of a segue to Big Leo. Leo, worked in corporate law for a while, and much different than what we do as divorce lawyers day in and day out. And one of the things, Leo, I think that brought you back was, competitive athlete, college athlete, wanting to be in the court to fight it out. And, you're not really able to do that as much. How much of an adjustment has that been for you? And what do you think moving into the new year?
I think it's certainly been a big adjustment. There's something to be said about being in court, having a presence in court and having a trial in court. But to Joe's point, Jared and I are just wrapping up a trial where it was, I think, a 3-day trial, Jared. We're going on day 4 for the ruling. And, the judge was impressed with our ability to be on Zoom, have our exhibits submitted electronically. Everything was numbered, exhibit list was there. So it was definitely a big adjustment. And I do miss being in court, but we've adjusted. The bottom line is, we as a team, we as a firm, we have adjusted. And I don't pretend to speak for every judge we're in front of, but I know this judge in particular was impressed with our ability to stay organized, our ability to have exhibits ready, et cetera, over Zoom.
Absolutely. And as we talk about our technology, I think we just lost James there for a second.
Great call. And that, I think one of the things that, again, I said before, all of the, the stuff I'm trying to figure out and learn, I think having a great team is so necessary in this day and age. And you get it. Some of us are better at technology, and I think, and Joe said this is, Beermann as a firm, 43 lawyers strong. having a team concept is just so critical, not only for the resources and the different talents that you can see that we bring in. This is just my team. You know, it's hard to replicate that. I had my own practice for many years up until 2005 when I merged with Beermann, and Shanna was an associate of mine at the time. It's hard to manage things when you're a small shop. And so you really need a big team, and the efficiency of it, like, which sings, you know, melodies in Jordan's ears, is it really helps clients get things done more quickly, and it's more cost effectively because we can have tiers of people billing at different hourly rates, and that saves the client money. Marcus, I'm going to turn to you because this year in particular, for all of us as individuals, has been challenging in so many ways. We've all dealt with it in different ways, but you can imagine clients going through divorce and layering the stress of a divorce with COVID and shut-in and some of the stuff Paige was talking about as far as parents not agreeing in terms of travel and those kinds of things. You know, Marcus, you're one of the guys that's day in, day out. You're you know, really dealing with clients firsthand, and trying to, as best you can, manage around the client's stress. What are some of your thoughts on some of the challenges that we've seen and overcome in 2020, and, you know, thoughts for the new year?
So COVID and just the year 2020 has brought along a lot of unique issues for this year. For instance, just dating all the way back to March, when there was massive layoffs, we would have to go in and try to modify support obligations based on certain incomes. Then there comes the stimulus checks. Are we filing emergency motions to escrow or grab those funds when they're going to go to one partner instead of the other? And then we have the whole issue with e-learning. Which parent is better equipped to facilitate their children's at-home learning? And we have parents and their significant others, parents visiting people from out of state. We've had to file motions to, you know, temporarily restrain people, you know, people's interaction with their children. So not only do we have to learn new technology, but we have to learn how our law impacts, you know, what section of the statute do we bring a motion to bar someone's restriction from going to New York over Christmas holidays? And so that, on top of the isolation that COVID can bring, and kind of how, as your divorce attorney, we can be kind of that backbone for a lot of families, was something that was a lot of different in 2020. And in 2021, you know, there is great hope that we're going to be back to normal as quickly as possible, and that's what everybody wants. But we already have the infrastructure in place now that there's, you know, there's not going to be many problems that COVID can bring that we haven't dealt with in 2020.
That's great points. You know, before we wrap up, do you guys have, I don't know, maybe more of a tip or a suggestion or just something for the person who might be listening or watching, you know, who's been thinking about a divorce? You know, we've gotten through the holidays, you know, we've gotten through this crazy year of 2020. Anybody have any thoughts on, you know, just some advice? Shan, I see you're unmuted. What do you think?
I would say if you are not sure, you could still call us and have a conversation and get information. I mean, most people, even if they're not ready to get divorced right that second, feel better after they talk to us and get the information. So I would just definitely say, keep yourself informed and call us anytime.
Yeah, I think that's really a great suggestion, because some people just, there's a lot of insecurity. There's a lot of unknown. People look at the internet and they kind of get some information, but sometimes it's really helpful just to talk to a group of good divorce lawyers, get some understanding of what the process looks like, what your options are. And that might help you in your decision-making process. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, just circling back to kind of what I was saying the other day, or not the other day, but oh my gosh, that just speaks to 2020 there a couple minutes ago. I think just kind of like put a bookmark in your mind and say, listen, we're starting new, and set attainable goals for yourself. And I think that along with Shanna's tip of getting, becoming informed and getting information and educating yourself, I think would be good for everybody moving into a new year.
Yeah. And Jordan, as there's a visual component of this too, one suggestion we might have is that for those of you that had the COVID hairdos, going into 2021, let's go see the barber, you know, get your clippers, but
Yeah,
let
one
the
goal for me would be, I think I was gonna have a braid down halfway down my back. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. How about the rest of you guys? You got any other thoughts or suggestions, you know, tips for the people in the new year? Even
I'll jump in there. I'll chime in. So a couple of things that come to mind, I'm going to use them personally. I think clients can use them. Potential clients can use them. Even people saving their marriage or relationship can use them. I think my advice is don't do nothing. Do something. Stagnancy will get you the same result that you've been in. If you are in a rut, you're going to stay in a rut if nothing changes. So as Shanna mentioned, whether that if you are inquiring about a divorce, you want to know the process, make a phone call. If you want to save your relationship, maybe make another phone call. Maybe it's to a counselor, a marriage therapist. But I think if you do nothing, you're going to get the same result. So that would be my 2 cents, is to implement some kind of change. And I know we're here in the new year, and I know it's a natural way to reflect, but I don't think there's any better time than right now. And right now could be December 31st. Right now could be June 15th. There's no need to wait. I think there's no better time than right now to implement whatever change that is.
And I think that's just from that's great advice in just dealing with this pandemic generally. You know, it's so easy to just get stuck at home, working from home all the time, and getting out, taking action, doing something. There's safe ways of doing it, taking precautions and what have you. But it's so easy to let, you know, to just stay inside, especially we're coming down the winter time right now, and things are closed, restaurants are closed. It just takes a toll on people's mental health. And it's so important that, you know, Shanna started this off with her comments on taking care of your own personal wellness. I think that's an approach we take with our clients. When, you know, you are on the other side, looking back at what you just went through, we're always trying to focus on what that looks like. So you come out well, financially, mentally, with your family, with your children, hopefully maintaining a positive relationship to the extent possible. With your ex, and you know, moving in a good direction. And so I think there are steps you can take, to Joe's point now, to make sure you're doing that. That would be my advice going into the new year.
Great thoughts. Paige, what do you think?
I think also kind of to piggyback off of Jared and Shanna talking about self-care and kind of this working from home, staying at home. I think it's also important to kind of highlight not everybody is safe at home. So for people who are in an abusive relationship or child abuse, not everyone's safe at home. And I think it's really important to point out that that's something we can help with too. There are resources, and you've been quarantined now for almost a year. It's in your best interest to not be in that situation for, you know, longer than you have to be. So I think that's something that we can help out with. And that's something that's not really talked about too much, but everybody says stay at home. Not everybody's safe at home.
Yeah. Tough stuff, man. Paige, that's really important to kind of bring that to the forefront, because it probably doesn't get as much attention. You know, Joe, you know, great advice. And one of the things I always say to potential clients, people that come to see us or talk to us, is our job is not to tell you to get a divorce. You know, we all believe in families and marriage, and we're not encouraging divorce. But like Joe said, sometimes we're in that rut. If you don't do something, you're going to stay in that rut. And for all of us, change is hard. You know, this year was hard for me, just changing the way I practice law after all these years. And so getting out, taking that first step, it's the hardest thing. And Shanna pointed that out, that maybe the first step is just a call. You know, we're happy to jump on a call with you, just give you a little bit of information, enough to think about and to start processing it. Maybe that'll start your path down the decision making. But that's sometimes easier said than done. And that's why we're just making suggestions. And there's a lot that we've discussed today that hopefully will be beneficial to you guys in some respect. but really good thoughts and comments. Before we wrap up, I don't want to have our young guns, Leo and Marcus, because while they may not have the 29 years of experience, they've been in the trenches long enough and they've got some really valuable thoughts. Guys, you got anything for the people heading into 2021?
I think this basically summarizes what everyone has just said. Is inaction is an action that can have effects on everybody in your house. If you come from a household where you need support, or there's something dangerous going on, or you've got kids, or any number of different scenarios I can put out there. Inaction is an action that's going to affect your life and possibly the lives of your children, your extended family, etc. So don't be afraid to take action in 2021. That should really be the mantra of 2021. 2020 was a confusing year, a troubling year for a lot of people. 2021 should be the year that everybody gets ready to take action, whether it's get a new job, find a counselor, find a lawyer, buy a lottery ticket, whatever it is, take action. Take control of your own life.
Awesome. That's great. Marcus, what do you think?
Piggybacking off of that, 2020 was a very difficult year, a very hard year for everyone. It was hard on relationships. It was hard on finances. It was hard on people's wallets. It was hard on, kids going to school and their education. So, but nothing's going to, 2021, brand new year, brand new start. Could be the best year for a lot of individuals coming up. Just stay positive and keep on trying to, keep on moving, keep on changing, keep on evolving.
Yeah. And I think that's what we hope all of this is that we're bringing a positive message forward. It's not like you can snap your fingers and everything that was bad in 2020 stops and everything is great in 2021, but it starts, I think, within you, within your own will. Can you start willing yourself towards a more positive direction? We're here to help you. If that's your choice, that you need to go in a different direction in your relationship. I think I did a podcast with Jordan once not too long ago, and one of the things he said, which I think was sort of spot on, is your New Year's resolution ought to be resolution, and that could be a resolution of a many variety of things. It could be resolution of like Marcus said, a bad job you've been in and you're looking for a new one. It could be a resolution of the case that you've been involved in. It just needs to be resolved. It could be resolving, the decision to say, I've got to get out of a situation. So it's all kind of piggybacking on to what the team is saying about take some action, make the action a positive action. Joe kind of started this off. It's almost like he was listening to his Tony Robbins tapes, before that, but he was spot on. And so, I'm so blessed to have these great people around me, and this is what we bring to our clients. It's a wealth of resources. It's different perspectives, different talents, and a lot of capacity. And so no matter what your issue is, we're happy to talk to you about it. We're happy to help you through it. And I think at the end of the day, my message is just live in gratitude, because amidst all of the craziness of 2020 that we've already talked about, for me personally, I've looked back and realized that a lot of what was getting me down was just me allowing it to get me down. And that truly, I've been blessed. I continue to be blessed with all these great people. We didn't have any layoffs at our firm. And we were fortunate for that. And as I started by the introductions, I've worked with, team members 17, 18 years. And so that's with that kind of great fortune. Also, we bring that continuity and that cohesion to our representation of our clients. And I think that can really benefit everyone moving forward. So I want to, again, kind of just thank my team, Shanna Vitek, Jared Pincus, Joe Napoli, Jordan Rosenberg, Leo Bazanis, Marcus Dominguez, and Paige Goldberg. You guys have been great. Thank you for all of your tremendous efforts in 2020. And I'm so excited and looking forward to big things working with all you guys in 2021. So for those of you viewers and listeners, Happy New Year. May good things come, peace, prosperity, and good health. Thanks for joining.